Yo, hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to my flat, welcome to a brand new dirt jump bike, complete DJ Alcatraz build, fresh from scratch, on the floor. I've broken every part down. Like, if you think this is a bit obsessive, feel free to tell me it's a bit obsessive, because it is. I've probably spent an hour laying everything out in exact order, broken down as small as things can be, to show you what's going to go into this bike build. There's a lot of stuff going on here. We've got obviously the frame up the top end, we've got all the parts, we've got the stand I'm going to build it in, we've got all the tools I'm going to use to build it. I'm sure a few of you are thinking, Matt's got a room with bikes on the wall and tools on the wall and everything in place to do this, but what I couldn't do is have the space to lay it all down here, have the bike stand next to it and get it all moving from side to side to side to side, and I'm going to run a time lapse of the build. So in order to do it, I had to move into the kitchen area, which is here, as you can see. It's quite obvious, there's an oven on the wall. A quick insight into the parts before we... Actually, let's just start building it and I'll introduce the parts and what's going into the build as we go. Whistler is coming up. I'm flying there in exactly a week and my knee is still like a bit of a problem. I went to see a specialist today in Manchester and it's mending. It's not broken or ligaments aren't damaged, but Whistler's in a week. I'm quite worried. But I'm building a new bike for it, so that's my way of passing the day today. Let's get going. Usually, if you were going to build a bike, you'd put the frame in the stand and start with that. But because I don't own a vise in my flat, I'm going to start with the fork. So the first thing to come up is the fork. I'm going to cut the steerer tube down using the stand. Like this. Right. So, I know that my steerer tubes on my dirt jump bikes are just under 200mm, 199, so I can mark that with a knife. Oh, by the way, look, it's 9:05. I'm going to see if I can build a bike in under an hour. The clock doesn't lie. Right. So, 199mm. I actually only measured once. You should definitely measure twice, cut once. Because if I cut this too short, the whole game is over. But we're going for it. Yes. Bit of a mess. But it's done. Saw there, that there. Fork. Oh, bloody hell. Okay. We can now get on to actually doing the bike. Frame is in. One cool thing about this bike stand is it weighs your bike. So when I've completely finished building this, we can actually see exactly how much it weighs with all the parts. So this is the Marin Alcatraz frame, the frame I designed when I came on board the team, the frame I've ridden ever since at all the events I ride. It's unreal, it's super short, it's a sick colour. That car sounded sick. The rear end's insanely short, the head angle's steep, but that means I can spin off lip, pump harder in pump tracks. Various reasons, but it's in the stand and we need to build it and we're fighting the clock. So I'm going to start with the headset and then put the forks in that I've just added. So, headset, I need crown race for the fork, lower bearing first, fork. Always put grease under a crown race and in the headset and all the other areas. I know I'm in a rush, but I don't want it to break on the biggest competition of the year. I need a hammer. There is a proper tool for this. There are also bike shops and garages in the world, but I'm in a kitchen, so I'm going to have to make use with DIY items. Okay, that's in. Lower cut bearing there. Get it the right way out. Bit more grease. Grease. Just check. Perfect. On top goes bearing. That. Stem. Okay. Fork in. I always think as soon as a fork goes into a bike, it's becoming a bike. Like, bikes need wheels, bikes need handlebars, but It's always nice to start like this because it looks like you've got quite a lot of the bike surfacing 5 minutes in. I'm getting sweaty, but is what it is. That one. I'm going to make so many mistakes and not realise until I've edited the video because I'm rushing. No one wants to watch how to build a bike slowly though, do they? World's slowest bike build. Okay, right, stem is going on. Yes. I don't have a star nut in the fork yet, so I'm just going to do up one of the bolts to hold that there. But this is the Gusset S2 stem. It's 33mm long, it's pretty much as short as you can buy any stem. And it's got 35mm clamp, so it's stiff, it's solid and short. And I just like short things. Yeah. Raceface sent me some carbon cranks and bottom brackets, and luckily another time saving thing, I know I need one spacer on the drive side to fit this frame because I've built a few. So I'm going to get the bottom bracket in hopefully nice and fast. Actually, it's probably one thing you do need to take time with, because if you thread your bottom bracket you've destroyed your frame. I would recommend ratchets, but if you can get any tool, whether it's a spanner, an Allen key, a wrench, a bottom bracket tool, and have a ratchet on it, it just makes life so much more easy. And pimp. Ratchets are pretty cool. Makes me feel like I'm fixing a NASCAR. Other cut, doesn't need a spacer, even if it's on the floor. We've done 10 minutes and not a lot's happened. There's some big things to come, which is frustrating, but we're going to get it done. I've actually done it once where I've been putting my bottom bracket in thinking it's tight but I'm going to go with it, or it's really tight but I'm going to go with it. Oh no, I've threaded my whole frame, like cross-threaded, sorry. And you've got a cup stuck in your frame that even if you could get it out, the threads are going to be destroyed. And that was a big problem, so I don't mind that I've wasted a couple of minutes doing that slowly, to be honest. Raceface 6C carbon cranks, I run them at 165mm long, which is the shortest you can buy cranks. It just makes me feel like my feet are closer together, getting towards what a motocross bike would be like to do tricks, rather than trying to do the long jump world record and having your legs in the splits. I've just always done it like that, so if they did 120mm cranks I'd probably try them. Because Travis Pastrana can do cooler tricks than I can, and he has his feet next to each other. So, absolute black, oval chainring. This is the blue that they made just for me, which actually goes with the frame really well. And you've got to line the dot up with the crank like that. Go on, in she goes. So the oval chainring works with single speed. You can actually run a really tight chain, even though it's getting longer and shorter. Well, that's what people think, it's actually not, and it's fascinating. I could watch it go round all day. It's super interesting, but it looks cool. You get more out of your pedal strokes, your back wheels turning in a linear fashion. It works, I may as well run it on normal bikes, and it looks cool. That's on there, so I'm really sweating. Cranks are going on. Bit of lubrication before the insertion. Let's put her in. Cap. 15 minutes in. Come on. Come on, dear. Thank you. Cap on the other end. Let's get the crank on, and then we kind of got the two, I feel like the two quite fiddly bits done, but you always forget what's to come. Oh no, 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 no. I also always put a piece of tyre between my chainring and my bottom bracket to create friction when I do tail whips, no foot cans, any tricks involving my feet, to stop the pedals spinning. And I almost forgot about it, so that slides on there. It's honestly just a piece of tyre that I've cut and cut a hole in. That's there. So because of that piece of tyre, it looks ridiculous, but my cranks don't spin very much. It's not going to be the best for the bike, like that's the truth, but let's get it about there. That's going to be the difference between me missing my pedals on a backflip tail whip and not. So it is actually really important. Seat post and saddle. Okay, I need to use the saw again. I didn't think about this. I should have cut my seat post down. Okay. Saw over here. Cool. Bit of a scrap metal pile for me. Feel like I've cut it too short for sure, but I'll worry about that later. So, the Crankset S2 saddle, another thing I've had input on. It's a dirt jump saddle, but people do run it on downhill bikes because they're comfy as anything. It has grippy pads here that I clamp my knees on to do bar spins and hold the bike. It's quite wide, it's comfortable, and it doesn't have the Allen key bolt through the top like most, so it kind of looks cleaner. The Allen key does up through the seat post, like that. I've actually got a really long 5mm for this job. Get that tight, because the time is ticking. That is a tight seat post. So, everything that needs sawing has now been sawed. So I need the shim for the saddle, then I'll drop that in, tighten it. Then we're on to back wheel in, then we'll do the chain, we'll size the chain up, then we'll add the brake, pedals, bars, stem, brake lever, grips, tyres. Okay, so we've got a few things to do and not a lot of time to do it. That's good. So we have a saddle on the bike. Next up is the back wheel. Halo DJD hub. This is the Super Drive version, which sounds insane, sounds like a hornet's nest. And the Chaos rim, which I've been running for pretty much the entirety of the 10 years I've ridden for Halo. They're weirdly light and bomb-proof at the same time. Two things that don't usually work together, but Halo have actually nailed it and hit the jackpot. So I need to add the little driver, which I'm going to go with a 13 tooth to go with 32 tooth over one up front. That's the ratio I run. It's quite heavy, but on the big slopestyle courses you pedal really fast because you're going fast. The jumps are huge, you have to pedal hard. Right, this is the assembly to go onto this hub body, the free hub. So I know that it's two small ones, spacers. Then the driver itself with the teeth facing outwards. Found it. I could have done this before I filmed it and saved time, but I just wanted to have everything laid out as complete, like an exploded diagram, as simple as it comes. So we're getting there though. Well, we're about just coming up to halfway, half an hour. I'm pretty keen to get this build done in an hour. Sweet. Sounds good. Back wheel can now go in. No it can't, I need disc rotor on the bike. So, I'm really making a mess now, everything was so tidy. Okay. TRP 160mm floating rotor. I'm going to put can I put tie bolts in that? Are they tie bolts? That'll be too long. Right, I'm just going to put normal rotor bolts in for now. But then I'm going to go over this bike and swap out the tie bolts when I finish, because it takes a bit of thinking about sizes and things. That'll bring the weight down, make it look more bling, but I'll save that for another video. So for the rotor bolts, I'm going to use a bit of copper slip instead of grease. Don't know why, someone told me to once upon a time. So I may as well abide by that. It's like knowing your car runs on diesel. You're not going to put petrol in it just to see what happens. You just go with it, don't you? Okay, I'm going to put 4 bolts in, because these are only going to be swapped out for tie ones. And I'm just looking at the clock and worrying. Get the wheel in the bike, and then it's like, oh no, I can't put the wheel in the bike, I can put a tyre on it. Tyre. It's a Maxxis DTH 2.15, so it's really narrow. Yeah, I'm going to run these tubeless, but that's one thing I'm not going to do in the flat and get pink muck off fluid everywhere, because I don't live here on my own, and Rebecca, who's filming right now, doesn't want to come running in here in the morning to pour the milk into her cornflakes and slip up on tubeless fluid. So tyres on, we'll do that another time, but it can go in the bike. Yes, in. Look how slammed you can get it, it's so good. You can just get the back end so short. Okay. Gusset S2 handlebars. The S2 theme runs from stem, saddle to bars. These come at 800mm wide, and I run my bars at 730mm wide. So to achieve that, I'm going to have to lose 70mm in total, which is 35mm off of both ends. And I've got a nifty little plumber's pipe cutting tool, which I couldn't recommend any more. It was like 10 quid. And you line it up with what's on the bars, which in this case is 35. Like that. It's got a little direction on it. Then you start winding. It takes the bar end off, the end of the bar off, and it's so useful. It means I don't have to strap a vice to a kangaroo, which is basically what I'm doing by using the bike stand. There she is. That's one side. Do the other side. Oh no, we're really using time here. One. Done. Okay, so that's cut down bars, and it actually does a really good job. It doesn't burr the end of the bar like a saw does. You actually get a decent cutting job. So they're cut down. I'm getting really sweaty. Really, really sweaty indeed. Sweet. Kind of looking like a bike. I'm tempted to do the front wheel. Yeah, why not? Why not do the front wheel and make it look like a bike? Front tyre is the Maxxis Icon, which is a bit more knobbly. I usually run a pair of those slick DTHs in the winter because I ride skate park. It actually makes no sense to run slick tyres in the winter. But because I'm doing the big comps, the crankwork stuff, the big jumps, the fast berms, I need a bit of grip up front because it's scary. That's the truth. I need to tape this rim first. Tubeless, ready. The front hub is the wide boy hub. It doesn't have brake mounts either side. That means you can have a wider, like spoke to spoke, left to right distance. You get a bigger spoke triangle and therefore a stiffer wheel. I've said it in a lot of videos, but it's just a bit of trigonometry, science, Pythagoras, geekiness of isosceles triangles that I like talking about in videos. So let's get this tyre on. I won't be running a front brake, which will save me a bit of time. Okay, 5mm Allen key, 4 pinch bolts. If only it was quick release, we'd save ourselves about 30 seconds. I just want to say, even though I'm rushing and fighting the clock, I'm not overseeing the fact that all these parts are brand new. I'm not wrecking anything, I'm soaring fast, I'm doing Allen keys up fast, but I'm not rounding off bolts and wasting the fact I get new cool stuff. Like, I'm super proud of a brand new bike. I'm in a rush. I really am in a rush, I've got 15 minutes to go. But I do want to do a good job, I just want to do it quickly. So, less waffling, more building. Pedals will be a quick, easy one. The Gusset S2 prototype ones. We need a brake, we need a chain, we need grips. Chain. Goldie looking chain. Actually off of another bike, so it's already the right length. I'm cheating a bit. If the title of this video is, can I build a bike in 1 hour and 3 minutes? It's a bit boring, so we're going for an hour. That is the goal, that's the plan, that's what's going to happen. Not at this rate, with my butterfingers. Come on, Matt. There we go. Let's do up the wheel. Now. I'm going to do the brake. So I've got a 160mm post mount. I've got a TRP Slate T4 brake with the lever on the right hand side because that's how I run it on my dirt jump bike. So let me clip the zip tie and let's put the brake on the bike. Fast. We're really coming up now, it's under 10 minutes to go. And it looks like I've done the whole bike, but I've got to put a star nut in the forks, I've got to put a grip on, I've got to bolt check it. And what else is on the floor? Tie bolts, they might have to wait, stickers, cable ties. So if you remember, we started at 9:05 and an hour will take us to 10:05. We haven't got a lot of time remaining. In fact, we've got 7 minutes. I'm quite doubtful now, to be honest, but you can live in a world of optimism and hope. Star nut, top cap and top cap bolt ready to go in. I'm just going to have to do it the ghetto way and use a hammer, which I'm quite gutted about, but I don't have a star nut setting tool, so she's in. She's not quite straight, So that's actually pretty good. How long have we got left? 1 minute. And we have 1 minute to do what? Put the grips on. Which I think we can do. I can't actually believe this is working out almost bang on an hour. I've always run the ODI Sensus grips. But these ones are the Mike Hucker Clark BMX grip. They're longer, which is cool. They're orange, which goes with the forks. And Hucker's a legend, and I'm a big fan of BMX. So that's my way of getting grips on quick. Just blow through them, and it'll dry eventually. And I'm definitely in a rush. We've got less than a minute. On she goes. Bosh! Look at the time. Well, what I have in front of me is, believe it or not, with a few questionable variables, a fully complete bike. I need to cut the cable ties, I need to pump my tyres up and make them tubeless. They're ready to go, I just need to put the fluid in. And I need to check the bolts. But I think with another 5 minutes, I could have done it. I'm going to tell you the truth, which is I failed. I didn't manage to build a bike in an hour. Although I did build a brand new dirt jump bike. I did build my bike for Whistler, which is all new parts, apart from the chain. Fresh, it's going to feel good. Fresh wheels on a bike feel amazing. I believe a fresh frame feels better than an old frame. I don't know how metal stresses to the point that it flexes and things, but fresh parts feel incredible. I'm super lucky to have all these sponsors giving me insane stuff to ride, build insane bikes. Shout out to my girlfriend behind the camera who stood patiently for 1 hour and 4 minutes filming all this, filming the struggle, and I've got a brand new bike out of it. I'm not going to completely tune it up and finish it now because I'm going to save that for another video where I test this thing when my knee's feeling better. It is dark outside, the kitchen's a mess, but I'm really happy with today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and you've learned a bit about my bike setup, my parts. Oh, I did promise I'd weigh it, so let's just do that. 10.2 kilograms. It's not subs 10. I think I can save 50 grams going to tie bolts, so I'll be at 10.18. And in pounds, everyone, that's 22.5 pounds. That's the weight of my bike. This is the Marin Alcatraz. You've all been amazing. Thanks for watching today's video. You're all absolute legends. See you in the next one where I ride this beast.